The reason I'm making this video is an attempt to correct a certain line of action with the notion that we're working in the fifth dimension. I can say that the two sides to it, once, for example, we keep hearing that if you say something in this environment, in this universe, if you say something, this is recorded and this takes effect. Now we know that the power that be, they use this discipline for many years, thousands of years. They create and recreate a narrative, a story about history, about kings, about story of nations, of religions, of heroes, of wars, and so forth. And this narrative, it has the ability to root into our consciousness, so we feel comfortable with a certain flow, a certain type, a certain characteristic that we know about the world, you know. So with this same effectivity, I'd like to suggest a way to reverse an impression. The reason we making the effort to correct the impression of the imposed impression about anything at all, if we look deeper into the root feeling, the root feeling is that is uncomfortable, that we are not getting to where we want to. Now, if I took for example a famous inventor like Nikola Tesla, whose work was prevented from spreading, because if it was, it would have released the whole humanity from slavery, from the control. The same applies to other great visionaries. The material was not allowed to scatter and spread. But what did, for example, the Bible, including the Christ story, whenever you see something that is obviously spreading around and help to be spread with the same, using the same words, same descriptions, you should be very suspicious that it is somebody working on us to try to seed in us further the story, the narrative, and to keep us in that framework. One of the most known narrative is about leadership. Everybody in America now are very excited, or too many people, in my impression, are very excited about Trump. 8 years ago, they were very excited about Obama, and a few years before that, they were excited about Clinton, maybe. Um, I know many people in Israel that are very excited about Netanyahu, and they still believe uh, that Netanyahu will bring about what they want, what he promises. So this is also a narrative that is kept repeating, and you ask yourself for what reason is it kept. The only reason, solid reason that I can find is just to keep our mind in a trap. Now, when you come and try to fix this, to suggest another narrative, this narrative will be considered conspiracy or something not based on any truth at all. And when you look at the gap, the disturbance, the fact that this fight over the narrative, where each time the ones who has more means to distribution means, at least in the public eyes, and when you see it happening again and again, and you tried it yourself, if you ever tried to be a revolutionary, if you ever try to bring out something that is outstandingly new and refreshing, you find that it's very hard, that you will have a lot of resistance. Recently, we have more and more voices that manage to cross the line, but still the rough voice of the what I call the voice of Satan, actually, is still so common. People live under this narrative for such a long time, and they believe in the kind of life that was projected for them, that was given to them. They believe in those narratives, and they repeat them, and this creates a certain frequency, a certain vibratory level that is gray. So, yeah, so when I look at this from a perspective of a person who is working in fifth dimension, and that is releasing anything, including the narrative, including the way that you or I was attached to this narrative and repeated it or was subject to it, just review, bring in this whole thing, that how you have reacted, how you have acted, what you felt under the pressure of the imposed narrative, whether it's in politics or whether it's in personal relationship. Because if you could, retrieve it, like go over it, so then you will clean your cellular level and your mind of this repeated imposition. The problem is the repeatance of this narrative, the repeating of this dissonance between what you really need and the imposition of repeating narrative. The dissonance becomes stronger to a point where you can, you must wake up to meet it and look at it, and make a slow motion movie with it to yourself, in attempt to finally, leave it behind. Yeah, so this is my contribution to cleansing our days today now. And thank you for watching. I'm Yosan Pedro. Nice to have you around just for a few minutes. And until next time.